Hey, how's it going on, guys? So in this video we'll discuss about this problem, prison cell after n days. So we are given 8 prison cells in a row and each cell is either occupied or vacant. Now each day whether a cell is occupied or vacant changes according to the following rules. The rules are, if a cell has 2 adjacent neighbors that are both occupied or both vacant, the cell becomes occupied, otherwise it becomes vacant. It is also given that in case cells of I is equals to 1, then it is occupied, and in case it is 0, it is vacant. So we are given an initial state of the prison, so we have to return the state after n days. So now let us try to understand how we can solve this problem. So over here let us consider an example first. So this is the input cells which is given to us. This is the value of n and this is the output. So if you see, we have this input as day 0. So let us see how we move from day 0 to day 1. So if you see, this is the corner cells. So these cells are corner cells, so these will be 0. That is, these will be vacant. What about this one? So this is currently in between 2 vacant, so it becomes occupied, that is, it becomes 1. What about this one? This is in between 2 ones, that is 2 occupied, so it also becomes occupied. What about this one? This is between 1 0 1 1, so this will be 0. What about this one? Again between 1 1 and 1 0, so this will be 0. Similarly, this will be 0 and this will be 0. So we can we reached day 1, and similarly with the help of day 1 we will reach to day 2 and so on. So one of the solution to this problem is, what we can do is we can apply this thing only n number of times, and we will be able to solve the question. So if you see, on applying it over this array, the size of the array is given to us, it is 8. So if you just iterate over this thing, so you will be able to convert day 0 to day 1, correct? So this is a O1 operation if you see. And since we have n number of days, so we have to apply n times, so this becomes O(n) time complexity. The problem over here is n is at a range of 10 to the power 9. In the worst case, it can be 10 to the power 9. So in case, this can lead to 10 to the power 9 operations. So this actually throw the TLE. Why throw the TLE? Because we can do at most 10 to the power 8 operations. So this is greater than 10 to the power 8. So this will throw a TLE in the worst cases. So we cannot apply this thing. So okay, so let us consider some other method to solve this problem. So the other method is, so basically just consider this thing. So over here it is given that we are always having 8 cells, and each cell can either have 2 values, that is 0 or 1. It can either be vacant or it can either be occupied. So this can have values like 0 or 1. Similarly, this can have values like 0 or 1 and so on. So if we have 8 cells and each cell can have at most 2 values, the number of combinations for this are going to be 2 to the power 8. These are the total number of unique combinations. Alright. So what I'm trying to say is that if value of n is very large, so it's actually going to form a cycle. This series is, if you consider this as a series, this series is going to form a cycle. Why I'm saying this is going to form a cycle? Because the number of total combinations are 2 to the power 8, which is equals to 512. And in case value of n is very large, suppose n is 10 to the power 9 only. So in that case, instead of going and 10 to the power 9 times, we can make use of this property that since we have this number of combinations, we can apply something so that we do not have to go for 10 to the power 9 times. So let me just try to make you visualize this thing with the help of a simpler example. Let us consider we have a series for A, B, C, D. So we have A, B, C, D. Let me just repeat this thing a couple of times. And let me just number this as well. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And suppose over here we need to find this 14th value. So this is B. So one of the ways to go till this. So in this way, so suppose over here n is equals to 40. So now one of the ways to go in this series and to find what is at position number 40. Correct. The other way is, since we know this is a series which is repeating. So ABCD is repeating. So if you see, the size of the window is going to be what? 4 over here. So the other way is, what you can do is you can modify n as n modulo size, which is going to be equals to 14 modulo 4, which is equals to 2. So you can simply go to the second position and you can find that this is B, so you can return B. So similar thing we are going to do over here. So if this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, this is going to be a series, correct? So we simply have to find the size of the series. Once we are able to find the size of the series, what we can do is we can simply reduce n using this formula, n modulo size. And once we have this, we know this size can have value at most 512. Why 512? Because there are at most 512 combinations possible. So this value will be reduced to less than equals to 512, correct? So once we have reduced this value, we can simply apply this algorithm only. That is, we can simply iterate and we can check whether for a current cell I, the previous and the next cell are both same or not. In case both are same, we will simply change it to 1, otherwise we will change it to 0, correct? So let me just write the code for this thing and then things will be more clear. So first let me create a set of string. Let us name it as set equals new hash set. So why do we need a set of string? See, this is the input given to us and this is the day 0 state, correct? So from day 0 state we can create the day 1 state, from day 1 state we can create the day 2 state, and so on. Now the thing is that in order to find whether a cycle exists or not, we need to store these states somewhere. Why is that? The reason is, if a cycle exists and this state comes again, then we need to know that this state has occurred previously as well. So what we are doing is we are creating this new state and we will convert this into a string and we will simply store it in a set, and we will check whether this state exists in the set or not. In case it does exist, we can say that a cycle exists, correct? So that's why we have this set of string. After this we will have the size of the cycle, which is initially 0. So let me just iterate over this n given to us. For int I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Over here we will have the next state array, so let us name it as next state only. This is of size cells, which is 8, which is given in the question. So let me just build this thing. So for int j equals 1, j less than 7, j plus plus, we'll have next state of j. This will be equals to, in case cells of j minus 1 equal cells of j plus 1, this will be 1, otherwise this will be 0. So this is based on the conditions given to us. So we are given these two conditions, so we are basically filling up using these conditions only. So once we have this, we have to convert this next state array into a string so that we can store it in a set. So we'll have string s as arrays dot toString, and we will simply pass this next state array given to us. Now after this we will simply check in the set, that is, in case it is not in the set, we will do something, else we will do something. So in case it is not in the set, we will simply add it to the set and we will simply increment the size by 1, correct? Else what we will do is we will simply break out of it. One more thing, we need to keep a boolean variable as well. So let me name it as flag, which is initially false. So over here we have to change it to true. And one more thing we have to do after this thing. So see, what we are doing is, so we had the cells array given to us, we have found the next state and stored it in the next state. Now in order to find the next state, that is, in case this is day 0, this is day 1, and we need to find the state at day 2, so we need to use this state, right? So we need to actually say cells is equals to next state, correct? So what I'm saying is, see, initially this is the cells array and this is the next state. Now in order to find a new, that is the day 2 state, we need this one, right? So we have to change cells to point to this one. So that's what we are doing over here, correct? Now over here, after the loop, what we will do is we will simply say check in case flag is true, then it means that we have breaked out of here. So what it means is we have found a cycle, so we can reduce the value of n using the formula n modulo size. N is equals to n modulo size, and then we have to just do this thing only inside this, means apart from this set method. So let me just remove the entire this thing. So okay, I guess this needs to move on. This needs to be like this. So after this, what we can do is we can simply return the cells. So let me just run this code once. So it's giving the correct result. Let me submit the solution, and it got accepted. So I guess that's it from this video. In case you have learned anything from the video, you can hit that like button, and in order to support my work, you may consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you all.